A good dinner of Shabbos. This week's Parshas, Parshas Yisro. Parshas Yisro, we find in the beginning of the Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu trying to explain all of the rules and all of the judgments to all of Klal Yisrael. They all come to Moshe Rabbeinu, and Yisro, his father-in-law, decides to try to help him out and give him some good advice. And he says that, why are you doing this? Why are you sitting alone and everyone's coming to you from the morning till the night and judging it? It's not an efficient way of having a judicial system. So Moshe Rabbeinu answers, that's what the first pasuk says, that when the people come to me to lidrosh Elokim, we'll address that in a moment. And then the second pasuk right after it says, Ki lahem davar ba'elai, when they have something they come to me, v'shafatati, and I judge bein ishu vein reyehu, and I judge between them. So the Drash V'Ha'iyun explains in an interesting way and brings out B'derech Drush brings out a point that we could all learn from. What Moshe Rabbeinu is telling Yisro is he's lamenting. He's saying to Yisro, there's a lot of people, and the Drash V'Ha'iyun says this explicitly, that there's a lot of people in the world who excel in Bein Adam La'Makayim. If there's any kind of shaila in kashrus or tumatayra or hilchas Shabbos, they go lidrosh Elokim, they'll go ask a shaila and they'll learn about it, and they will be able to excel in that department. But when it comes to Bein Adam Lchaveiro, people don't have any questions. Unfortunately, they don't seek out the most proper way, and every little tiny detail of Bein Adam Lchaveiro. Famously, they would lament about the Igros Moshe or Moshe Feinstein. The Choshen Mishpat section is the smallest one. Moshe Feinstein used to answer shilas all the time and wrote many svarim, the Igros Moshe, but it's mostly in not Bein Adam Lchaveiro, Choshen Mishpat, which deals with Hilchas Geneva and things like that, and business dealings is very thin. And famously, it's the smallest volume of the Igros Moshe because people just didn't ask shilas about those things. And that's what the Drash V'Ha'iyun, that is what he explains is happening here. When Moshe Rabbeinu tells Yisro, he says, Ki avay elai ha'am lidrosh Elokim. When the people come to me, they come to be lidrosh Elokim, Bein Adam La'Makayim, between man and God. Those things, Tomatayra, Hilchas Shabbos, things like that, and they can try and they come to get answers to their questions. But Ki lehem davar ba'elai, only in Bein Adam Lchaveiro v'shafatati bein ish uvein re'eyu, when it comes to topics between man and his friend, Bein Adam Lchaveiro, it's only Ki lehem davar. If something comes up, then he comes to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he has to try to be reactive instead of proactive. And that the Drash V'Ha'iyun says in a beautiful way. The Drash V'Ha'iyun says we need to be able to excel in Bein Adam Lchaveiro like we try to excel in Bein Adam La'Makayim. Whereas in Bein Adam La'Makayim, we always try to ask shilas and figure out every detail of every mitzvah, and that's excellent, and we should do that. But we have to also do it in Bein Adam Lchaveiro, not just be reactive when something happens, an argument comes, and then we go to a Rav or go to someone to try to help us out. We have to be proactive in our Bein Adam Lchaveiro. We have to think to ourselves, what's the best way to treat people? How can I best get along with my spouse? How can I form that relationship with my children and keep that going? All these things are just as important as the Bein Adam La'Makayim. So let's all try to keep that in mind and have a wonderful Shabbos.